So you've started to learn to code. You've listened to the experts who have been in your shoes before. You've taken some courses. You've read some books. You've probably even done a few projects or websites, landing pages. You might even have a portfolio page already. But there are a couple of tools that you're not using right now as a beginner that professionals use on a daily basis. And just because you're a beginner doesn't mean that you can't start using those now. So in today's video, I want to show you 2 tools that you're probably not using as a beginner right now and that are usually missed by people that are giving advice to beginners, but they're also tools that professionals use on a daily basis, and it's better to learn them now rather than later. But first, if you're new here, my name is Corey and I'm a web developer, and more importantly, I'm a self-taught web developer, so I've been in your position. When I was starting out, I had no guidance, no game plan. I had no idea how to code or what code was. Over time, through stumbling around with many wins and many losses, I kind of developed a game plan for myself and found my way to becoming a professional web developer. If that sounds like you or something that you're interested in, consider subscribing, because each week I'm going to give you my very best in the form of tips, tutorials, practical advice, and I'm going to share my story to becoming a web developer. My aim with this channel is to help you remove some of those roadblocks on your path and your journey to becoming a web developer. All right, so let's jump right into the video. So the very first thing that I would urge you to learn as a new developer is the command line. I know it sounds scary, so bear with me. The command line can be super intimidating because literally you're staring at a black screen and just your text alone is expected to do something to this box, right? To make the computer do things that you want it to do just by typing in the commands. And though it can be kind of intimidating at first, you'll find after using it that it's really not that scary at all. Actually, I use it on a daily basis. Actually, all professional web developers use it on a daily basis. And I actually would prefer using it over anything else at this point. Also, when you start a new job, you're going to be expected to know how to use the command line. I can almost guarantee you that. Especially if you're working with JavaScript installing NPM packages, or you're spinning up your own servers or anything like that, the command line is going to be your best friend. So there are a ton of free resources out there, just like anything else. A quick Google search will yield you tons and tons of resources on how to learn the command line. But if I had to pick just one, it would probably be Learn Enough Command Line to Be Dangerous by Michael Hartle. He has a lot of really, really good tutorials on his channel. Well, I guess his website. They're usually like Ruby based. He was kind of the Ruby guy for a long time, but his course or tutorial on using the command line is super useful and it's free. And obviously I'll put the link to that down in the description box below. As with anything though, just practice alone is going to get you more and more familiar with it. So definitely use it. Okay, so the second thing that most new developers don't do and they should be doing right away, is using Git and setting up a GitHub account. So Git is a form of version control, and you can kind of think about version control kind of like as a video game. So it's kind of like a save state for your code. Each commit or save is kind of like a point in time on this long timeline that your code shares. So this is super important early on because you're bound to break your code eventually. I mean, you're a new developer and that's totally normal. You should want to break your code and fix your code. That's how we learn. By using Git though and backing up all your code to GitHub, you always have that copy in your back pocket in case you need to go back and pull something out, or in case the whole thing exploded on you, or your computer melted down, or you delete your hard drive by accident. You have all of that code in the cloud. So I also mentioned setting up a GitHub account, and GitHub is basically just the website that you use Git to talk to. There's a ton of these websites, Bitbucket, there's a couple of other ones, but GitHub is by far the most popular and it's the industry standard. So about 99% of the time when you do get into a job setting, you will be using version control. Now Git can span like several videos just in itself. You'll never learn all of Git. I don't know all of Git. No one probably knows all of Git. But there's only like 4 or 5 commands that you really should know or that you have to know to get started. So you need to know how to add your code. You need to know how to commit your code. This is usually with a descriptive message just so you can look back later and see what you did. And you need to know how to push your code to the cloud. If you can get those things mastered, you'll start using Git more efficiently, more effectively, and you'll back up all of your code. This is something that you'll start to do and not even think twice about. So to learn more about Git, I put a couple of resources in the description box. There's a few, there's one Udemy course. There's something from GitHub officially, so that's a really good resource to check out as well. And by the way, you know what the fastest way to use Git is? The command line. All right, folks, so that's gonna wrap this video up. I hope by sharing these 2 things that you're probably not doing now that professionals are doing, that'll speed up your workflow and your learning process. The faster that you can start to learn these things is the faster that you can get in a job setting. Plus, it's just really kick ass to code like a developer, a real developer, a pro developer. So give these tools some time and practice those tools while you're also practicing honing your skills as a developer. You'll seriously find that eventually no piece of code will not start on the command line and no piece of code will not be on GitHub. I literally start every code or every assignment, project, anything like that in the command line. And the first thing I do when I get started is to push that all up to GitHub. And as always, guys, if you found value in this video, please give me some thumbs up. That really helps me and really helps the channel out. I'm trying to grow as fast as possible and as big as possible so I can reach more of you guys and help more of you guys. So that's gonna be all for this one. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. And until next time, keep coding.